Welcome back.
Welcome.
We're moving into the present, and this is something that has been brewing. The kettle has been whistling on this one in the background for what would it be? A year and a bit, 2 years maybe.
Forever.
The segment is Riddle Me This.
Riddle me this.
And it's stuff that we just cannot understand.
Can he fathom?
Can't get our heads around it. And
Starts with a good one.
yeah, and the one that has been driving you bonkers, has had you curled up in the shower over
crying.
Why isn't the GT86 absolutely loved?
Yeah.
And isn't prolific in this country?
In a country of B roads and twisty A roads and general amazing sort of countryside and roads, but not a massive country, so you can get where places quickly, so you don't need massive barges that will drive 8 hours along. So it's just
Let's go back to the start.
Okay.
And pace our way through this.
Yeah, you might have to give me
adrenaline, or
you might have to just
bring
beat
you
me
down.
through this. Just put the beats in and I'll hit
So
it.
Toyota come along.
Yeah.
They've done the Supra twin turbo, which is like it's the fast car. In fact, it's been replaced by the V10 Lamborghini. That's what it's taken.
Yeah.
Is people turbo converting V10 Lamborghinis to do the kind of stuff Supras, the twin turbos, which is the J8, I think, or something like that.
One JZ, 2 JZ.
Obviously, one JZ on the G8, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Body. Twin turbo.
You know
Supra,
what it
fast
is.
and
You know,
furious.
you know which one
Fastest
it is
cars.
anyway.
You always win all the modified car races.
All the things.
And Toyota and as Supras have become popular and stuff like that, there's this thing called Initial D, and Initial D is anime.
Yeah, and then manga and then anime.
Is
isn't
it manga and then anime?
Manga first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a dramatized series of stories focusing around Touge racing, which is mountain racing in Japan.
Mountain pass racing.
Two cars usually go up and down.
Uphill and downhill.
You have to either lose the car behind. The car behind has to try and stay close and stuff like that. And mostly the AE86 Truno.
Yeah. Hachiroku.
Yeah. Which is that Thunder Truno? Is it Thunder and Lightning, the Truno in the other one?
Oh, you might have out-knowledged me that one. I don't know.
But either way, the A86 is claimed to be the forefather of drifting.
Yeah. Yeah, because it comes from... Because the manga is sort of roughly or loosely based, I believe, by... I think the last name is Shigeno, but I can't remember the first name of the author. It's sort of loosely based on Keiichi Tsuchiya, who's a best motoring drift god.
Yeah.
Who's rather... he rather likes his A86. And... I think it's actually, I don't know here, but I think it's actually an A86.
A86.
This is the thing, because in the new one that we'll get to in a bit, in Japan, they call those, they don't have GT bit, they just call them 86s. So.
Well, he supposedly introduced drifting to the masses because whilst taking part in a race, knew he wasn't going to win, so he started drifting the circuit to show off.
Yeah.
Which is something he was only doing at night in his Touge racing on the side. And we all went, wow, what's this drifting malarkey?
And he released the Drift Bible, which was this kind of, whole kind of video series of how to drift.
And it's very easy to say, oh, well, drifting's silly and it's ridiculous and it's not an effective way of cornering. But in a light car that's rear-wheel drive front engine, like the A86,
with not too much power
going
either.
downhill, being able to pitch the car sideways is believed to give an advantage. And it's not power sliding. A lot of what you see with drifting is basically power sliding, but it's being able to slide the car off throttle, which is critical.
Yeah.
So you got the A86. Now you'd also got the GT2000.
Yeah.
Which is Toyota's famous fast coupe.
Gorgeous.
And what Toyota decided to do is, because basically everybody back then, and they flip-flopped on this now, all screamed, we need a driver's car, we need a driver's car, we need a driver's car. Low weight cars are the best, rear wheel drive front engine cars are the best.
Yeah.
Give us a short wheelbase, give us something low to the ground.
Yeah.
That's what we all want, we'll all go and buy it. And Toyota foolishly...
Yeah, we need a panacea to the very complicated turbo nannying sort of...
And Toyota, who completely forgot that people don't buy a drill, they buy a hole, were led by that, maybe rightly so in other cultures, and said, well, here you go, we're going to fuse the concept of the GT2000 and the A86, and we're going to create the GT86, which is short, it is low, the low centre of gravity is amplified by the fact it has a flat four boxer engine, it's rear wheel drive, but most importantly of all, the power on it is enough to have fun, but not enough...
Modest.
Yeah, it is modest, but not enough to get you in trouble, or for you to not have to try to drive the car. Back in the day, you know, like a 1000cc Mini was more fun than a 1275cc Mini. It's that concept.
And actually, that's quite true to the AE86 as well, because that when you watch stock, I mean, there's barely any stock examples because they're all, you know, tuned and look absolutely and sound absolutely gorgeous because of it. But Tsuchi is kind of, I think, you know, has said previously that you just cane them. In order to drift a standard 886, you are just caning it. You are on the limit of the revs all the time, because that's where the power is, and it's that blob of power that you need to break traction, you need to be pushing it. So it's a car that is just, that it eggs you on, and you have to be egged on in order to sort of get the best out of it. And that's kind of because it was modest. I think it was only about 150 horsepower or something, maybe, I'm not sure.
Well, it's basically the antithesis, isn't it, to modern cars?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so that's
which
it. We've
is
got 200
heaps
horsepower.
of power, loads of grip,
masses of torque as well,
loads of driver aids. So as of now, years later, obviously we're all driving A86s, and when you go out, you just see an endless line of you know, standard and modified A86s. And you go into a car park, like, oh, there's another 86, and oh my god, and now they're doing these kind of modifications. I mean, you just can't
move for them.
Over them, aren't you?
Can't move for them.
Or oh no.
If only it really was true. No,
it didn't work out like that.
No,
that's how it worked out in other countries.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is 320Ds. Those are the ones that you thought. 320, all the car you ever need.
The ultimate driving machine being a diesel saloon.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
you've got that's a great point. That elsewhere in the world, I mean, it's one of the best selling, not one of the best, but very high selling for its markets. But certainly in places like Australia, obviously in Japan, it's just like nom 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 on GT86s because they are amazing.
Because they've got class and taste.
Exactly. And also we mustn't, although we're talking about the GT86, we must also mention the Subaru BRZ, which actually would be my choice if I was going to have either of the twins. I would have the BRZ because I would have it in blue with gold wheels. I would be that guy. But I don't care. They're just
and you'd be fine because there aren't any about.
Yeah, exactly. It'd still be like super rare, even more rare than a GT86. But you're right. This is the thing. It's elsewhere. They're doing all right. Even in places like, you know, there's quite a calling for them as the Scion FRS that was, and I think now it's becoming the
they
86
changed it.
In America. But over here, I mean, it is like I referred to it before when we were talking about it. It is the perpetual argument machine on forum and everywhere, fora everywhere, because for every person that says it has enough power, there's another person that says it doesn't have enough power, and it just goes on and on and on, and it makes me cry. I mean, it's an interesting time to be talking about this one because there was actually on that website we never talk about, but you almost know what it is by now. Never talk about it.
Never have talked. Can't prove anything.
Yeah, can't prove. We never mentioned it by name.
Never been on there.
There was an article this week, I think, or last week, and it was kind of a tell me I'm wrong, and it was basically saying, you know, the GT86 is more relevant than ever, and people still didn't seem to get it. It's bizarre, and I think one thing that we're missing, I think we're sort of coming to an answer with this, aren't we? But I mean, it's only a partial answer. But I think part of it is, if you look at the American car company, you look in Australia, you look in Japan, the idea behind the GT86, just the same as with the A86 was, it's good as standard, it's better modified. And the thing is, it's a blank canvas. It's a gorgeous chassis, it's a willing engine, although people carp on about the bloody torque dip like it's the worst thing in the world, when actually it's right in the middle. It's like it's too high for cruising and it's too low for when you're revving it. So exactly when is this torque dipper problem? I don't know, but I've never driven one, so I have to just say if you've got a massive problem with this slight dipper, I don't know. But the thing is, it's a blank canvas and it's a gorgeous, sort of luxurious feeling canvas. I don't know, like how
it's a good looking car. I vividly remember the first day I saw one, and it wasn't like, ooh, there's a BRZ.
Yeah.
It was like, what's that?
What is that?
Because when you see one, it's so low.
So low, yeah. That's
so
it.
nicely proportioned.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for it.
No, exactly. And the thing is, you have to remember as well, and this kind of where, I guess this is where our thinking, the cogs started turning with this one. So Japan, and I think maybe Australia, could be wrong, but certainly Japan, got the 86 RC. And the 86 RC had steel wheels, unpainted bumpers, I think minimal kit inside. And the idea was basically like, there was no point in charging you extra for the wheels and the bumpers, because the first thing you did was rip them off and put badass stuff on it, like a Rocket Bunny kit, or just took them off just so you didn't catch them when you were drifting or whatever. But the idea is you could just, very much in the vein of how like MX-5s are treated now.
MX-5's a good comparison.
Yeah,
I think.
It's what you can do to it. But this is the thing, you see, everyone, and that's really interesting because a lot of the forums, certainly in the UK, a lot of people like, won't pay 25 grand for one of them, just buy an MX-5 for 3 grand. And the thing is, it's like, that's where, again, it starts to, this opinion that we've got, this kind of answer to the question, coalesces around, the problem is, people who buy cars at 20 grand don't buy them. As we mentioned last week, again, good timing for this one, they lease them, and the moment you lease them, you're not allowed to do anything to it anyway.
Exactly.
So they want their S-Line Audi that's already got slightly swollen arches and massive wheels and all the stuff that makes it look modified, because they can't. I was going to say because they haven't got the balls, but that's not fair.
I think it might be
maybe,
fair.
But maybe it's that you haven't got the balls to buy the car outright and make it what you want. I mean, if you're going to complain that a GT86 hasn't got enough power, there are turbo kits. There are supercharger kits. There are NA kits. I mean, like the supercharger kits, and they bolt on. They just bloody bolt on. Like you just buy one, bolt it on. You've got like probably 250 horsepower, which is what everybody's been claiming it needs. You've probably got 300 horsepower if you need it, which is more than enough. I'm sure the chassis can absolutely take it. So it comes down to basically our kind of answer as we can work it out, isn't it? Really, is we're just shit in this country.
We are a bit shit, and I hate to say that because it pains me.
As people who modify cars, it pains us both, I think.
But for some reason, we are a very timid culture.
That's the word. Has
this kind of parental avoidance of doing fun things.
Yeah.
And it's this issue of, I really want to buy a GT86 and modify it and do all that. It's 25 grand.
Yeah.
And then we go, but well, if I look on my spreadsheet and I look at the MPG and can't really fit people in the back that easy.
There's people complaining about the lease deals. It's not even they're not even buying them outright. They're going, and then on the latest one was, why would you buy a GT86 when you could buy a Golf R for less on a lease? I mean, if that doesn't miss the mark by a country mile, a country billion acres, God knows. I just like. It blows my mind.
It's madness. It is like, you wanted a chicken tikka, you wanted a vindaloo.
Yeah.
You wanted a vindaloo.
Yeah.
Here's some rice pudding.
Yeah, it's basically the same.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, it's cheaper, and it's kind of slightly, sort of the same.
It's that ridiculous. It is chalk and it is cheese.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's so sad that we are so pathetic and weak-willed and so out of touch with that inner child that really wants to go out and do these things, because doing stupid things is fun.
Yeah.
Okay? Wasting your money on silly things is no such thing as wasting.
No.
Your money. It comes to another point, but that I want to bring up in the future. But basically, a car like that is a life experience.
Yeah, totally.
And bolting on your own supercharger or turbocharger kit, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. It's really not as scary as it sounds,
Yeah,
especially when you've got like amazing Japanese guides or I don't know, cheap Chinese kits and stuff like that. There's nothing to be scared of.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, you have these people who again, in the same breath as sort of talking about the the MX-5 as that's the why would you when you have the MX-5? Forget that people bought the MX-5 a long time ago in order that you can now buy one for $2,000 or $3,000. It's like they're not comparable.
No,
because if no one goes and buys a GT86, you can't do this. I'll pick one up when they're a bit cheaper, but they won't be cheaper.
But the argument, the same person who in one breath will tell you, well, GT86, no point getting one because it's not powerful enough, will ignore the fact that you can get all these parts, but then defend the MX-5 on the basis of when you get used to the power, you can do X, Y, and Z and all this, and it's limitless.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, what I don't understand, like, I get it in a way, I know money's money and all that sort of stuff, but it is fascinating that people are like, the GT86 does not have enough power because it's 20 grand, but the MX-5 is absolutely fine because it only costs 3 grand. And I get it, but like, can you not also try and base your opinion on the merits of the vehicle without bringing money into it and just actually, because I think that's it. It's so, I think what hurts, what does make me curl up and cry under a shower is it's so vitriolic. It's a real hatred of it.
That's because it's an emotional defence.
Yeah.
Because it's an indefensible position.
Yeah.
It is basically, I know I want this thing. Yeah. I know I could have this thing now that I've always said I wanted, but I have this one excuse that I can just keep spitting at everyone that's trying to tell me to do something with my life.
Yeah.
And I can keep spitting that and then saying, well, me 320D gets 60 mpg.
What more could I? Yeah.
And this driver report said X, Y, and Z about it. So, and you can just keep kidding yourself. You can keep deluding yourself.
Yeah.
That it's not right because Toyota have made this horrid mistake. Of giving everyone in Britain this caveat.
Yeah.
And that caveat being that it isn't a powerful car.
Yeah.
And it's a sports car. And we have become obsessed now with, if I'm going to get on a lease deal, then I want X amount of horsepower.
That's it. As a minimum, it's all stat based.
Whilst you just I know, cruise around and just boot it occasionally on a slip road.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd love to. And again, this is a subject I think I'd like to talk about in the future. But when I was looking at this subject that we'll talk about in the future, it was about Nürburgring, and I happened to look up the GT86 Nürburgring time, and it works out at about an average of 88 miles an hour over the course of the Nürburgring. Now, like, as a person, I know there's always better cars, there's always faster cars and all this. But as a person who owns 2 cars with 60 horsepower, my argument is, if the GT86 can do the Nürburgring at an average of 88 miles an hour, that's 18 miles an hour more than the fastest roads in the UK. So does that not, in a way, like, make it good enough for most? I mean, there's people saying...
argument, though.
I mean, there's people out there saying, again, like, as someone who owns a car with 60 horsepower is laughable, saying that the GT86 does not have adequate power for overtaking. I'm just like... What planet are you on? Like, there's a gearbox, there's a beautifully revvy engine. Like, are you trying to do overtakes in 6th gear at 2,000 RPM and just be like, there's no power in, there's no power?
We've become oddly conditioned. And you know what I think people's real problem is? This is what I think real problem is for most people. We have become conditioned to this point where a fun little race on the road or something, because like, I don't think we're very in touch with driving pleasure anymore.
No.
Particularly in this country.
Yeah,
that's because we've made driving a crime and put speed cameras everywhere and it's difficult to have fun and everything like that. And therefore, for most people, the closest they get to a spirited drive is pulling out the M6 toll booths and booting it in that 4 lanes and seeing whether or not they can burn off that Vectra diesel or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. I think a lot of us really, really struggle with the concept that we might be in this exciting, sporty looking car and pull onto a dual carriageway and boot it and have a Seat turbo diesel out-drag us.
I mean, that's it, Again, there's a lot of that in the forums. It's just like, it won't sort of keep up with a 320D.
Yeah.
And again, it's just like, but
I
don't have an answer.
And a leopard skin thong won't keep you warm in winter.
Yeah, exactly.
But what is a lot more fun than a pair of long johns. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
We're so inhibited.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a shame. And 10 years prior, I think it could have worked.
Yeah.
I think we were kind of Impreza, because everyone says, the first Impreza's the best Impreza now, and stuff like that, because it was lighter, had a bit less power and all this. And we loved that. And I think that if it had been Supra and it had been
GT86,
and plus mods,
yeah,
and I think it would have done well. We were buying cars then, and also I think the culture of driving was a bit more driving orientated. I think
the time of max power, isn't it? When the mod culture is massive, isn't it?
And it's not a generational thing. It's not the young generation that are turning these down or anything like that. It is a cultural issue that we all have that we can't get past. And for a country which pretty much invented the lanes, the sort of B-road car, the
affordable sports car, MG Midget, Austin Healey Sprite, Triumph Spitfire, Lotus Elan, but I can't miss that one out. Exactly,
that everyone's trying to imitate.
Lotus Elan, that's the kind of direct sort of what's it to the MX-5,
It's bizarre.
And like you say, that idea has been lost now. I mean, I could rant on for a long time, but it's completely true that that's the affordable sports car, and to a large extent, it was as affordable convertible sports car. All those ones we've just named, all convertibles. The only convertibles you see now are turbo diesels, apart from MX-5s. They're all white Audi TT convertibles, white SLK convertible diesels, Focus thing, foldable 206 thing. Okay, they might be petrol, but most of them, that's it. It's a complete change in the car culture, and it's real shame. And you need to just I'll make a final point, because we should move on. I'll make a final point. You want to see the difference in car culture and the Toyota GT86 culture between the UK and Japan? Just go on YouTube and type in GT86 Touge roads. Toyota Japan have made a series of videos, of about 200 and something videos, documenting Touges all over Japan that you can take your car on, take your GT86 on. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? It's like, here's your car, this is what you do with it. And it's like, it's not like all out Banzai, do this in the middle of the night when it's wet so that you can, it's like, go on a nice drive. Go on a nice, essentially B-road up a mountain drive. Why can't drive? Just drive.
Actually, shift the gearbox instead of a flappy paddle and stuff like that. So what I'm willing to say that Toyota got it wrong in this country. I'm willing to say Toyota got it wrong in this country. And when it goes, we'll have this big swan. Such a shame. I was going to get. I was just saving up. I was thinking to get one second hand and all this, and that's going to happen. And what is the solution? And I think that what Toyota could do here is they could hybrid it. Electric assist. Rear axle.
Get rid of the torque dip.
That sorts your torque out. It would give it a lot of oomph low down. I think it would make people a bit happier. That would.
Bit more weight though, but I mean, again, I get it, because like I've often said, and it pains me to say it, but my Smart Roadster Coupe, if they'd have put the little diesel in from the Smart 42 in that, I think that would have sold like hotcakes. Because it was essentially nice, swoopy, sporty, bit involving, but you can get your 80 miles per gallon, and it's what people want, I guess.
That's us. That's what we are now. Go on an exotic holiday and drink Carling and sit on outside a British pub.
For the whole duration.
I want a nice funky house. Give me a 2 up, 2 down farmhouse. Pastiche. We can't move on.
No.
We can't. And it will be to our own detriment. And when we start importing BRZs and GT86 from Japan, then we'll know in Australia. If the Australians haven't got them all by then we will know, won't we?
I mean, we've seen it swan song for the Suzuki Swift recently. So Suzuki Swift, new one, is turbocharged. So much good stuff said about the old Suzuki Swift as a warm hatch. And yet everyone's like, well, why would you do that when you can get a Fiesta ST? It's got more torque and horsepower. It's like, because it's light, because it's involving, because it has a lovely gearbox, because... But that's it. We just can't do it. So look around you, because you'll see it in it elsewhere. Like I say, definitely with Suzuki Swift. There's other cars out there that are having the same conversation, and the Brits are summarily shitting on it and saying, can't we just have it in a diesel instead? I mean, Oh, I love you, GT86. I am glad you exist. I want to own you one day. Or I want to own a BRZ one day so bad. And actually, Subaru, final point. I promise final point. Subaru should get more credit for it because actually it's pretty much Subaru's design, Subaru's engine. It's just Toyota were like, look guys, this is going to cost a lot. We'll help you out here. Can we have our own version? Subaru like, yeah. So thank you Fuji Heavy Industries or Subaru Limited. Yeah, and thank you Toyota Subaru for doing this sort of cool stuff because it's just cool. It's just cool.
We're sorry.
Yeah, and we're sorry that Britain's just useless.
Broken Britain.
But at least Japan and Australia and America got it right.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone else.
Thank you.